Tables and figures. Use tables and figures to visually display data in your paper. Tables and figures are effective to visually display large amounts of numerical or textual information. Tables and figures should be integral to the text, contain enough information to be understood on their own, support the goals of clear, accurate, and effective communication. Each table and figure should also contain unique information and not repeat one another in the text. Tables and figures must communicate findings clearly and attractively. Ensure that each element supports the goal of effective communication. Use the standard form for a table or figure. Clearly label the elements. Choose line spacing and font sizes that enhance readability. Define abbreviations, even if they're also defined in the text, and update tables and figures as needed if data or text in your paper changes. There are two options of where to place your tables and figures, either at the end of the paper or embedded in the paper. Either way, align the tables with the left margin. If you choose to place your tables and figures at the end of the paper, place them after the reference list and put each table and figure on its own page. Present all tables in numerical order, followed by all figures in numerical order. The end of paper option is typically used for works being submitted for publication, but follow whatever option that your instructor suggests. If you choose to embed your tables and figures inside your paper, place them within the text when they are mentioned, and position the table or figure after a full paragraph at the beginning or end of a page so that it fits on one page. Add a double-spaced blank line between the table or figure and any text on the page. Mention or call out every table or figure in the text. In your call-out, tell readers what to look for in the table or figure. Call-outs can be in the narrative of the sentence or in parentheses. Multiple tables or figures can be called out at once if needed to. For example, refer to tables 2 through 3. Number tables and figures with Arabic numbers 1, 2, 3, etc. in the order that they are mentioned in the text. Refer to every table or figure by number, not by its position or page number. For example, don't write the table above or the figure on page 3. Instead, say table 1 or figure 2, etc. Use either narrative callouts or parenthetical callouts. You can say the correlations are presented in table 1, or figure 2 shows each group's mean. Or you can put it in parentheses, see table 4, or parentheses for a display of the design, see figure 7. Do not repeat data in multiple tables or figures, and make sure your tables and figures are not redundant within the text. Present information consistently across similar tables and figures. Use the same terminology, the same units of measure. Use parallel headings. Use the same size and scale for figures, and use the same names for groups, variables, measures, and so on. So tables use arrays of columns and rows. Use tables for numerical values such as means and standard deviations. You can also use them for textual information such as words and participant responses. And you can use them for combinations of numbers and text, like shown in this example of Table 2. Be sure all of your tables have a number. Number all the tables in the order in which they appear in the text. So start at 1, and then continue on Table 2, Table 3, and so on. Present tables in the same order that they are called out in the text. Write the word table with a capital T and the number in bold. Left align the table number, and place the number either at the top of the table, the top of the page if it's on a new page, or above the table where it appears in the text if it's embedded in the text. Each table should have a title. Give each table a title, one that is brief, clear, and explanatory. Make sure the title is not too detailed or too general. A good title might be Meta-Analytic Relationships Between Personality Variables and Adaptive Performance. Write your title in italics, left align the title, place the title one double-spaced line below the table number, use title case from the title, which means capitalize all the major words, and double-space the title number and title. Let's look at several examples of tables. Here is a demographic characteristics table. Here's a t-test table. Note what these tables have in common. Here's a correlation table. They all contain the table and the table number and the title. Here's an ANOVA table. They all contain headings along the top and down the side, and then the data. Here's a regression table, and some contain notes at the bottom. Here's a qualitative variables table. And a mixed method table. So tables can be numeric, or they can be alphabetic or textual tables. Let's move on to figures. If it's not a table, it's considered a figure. All types of visual displays that are not tables, they're considered figures in APA styles. This might be graphs, charts, drawings, photographs. Use a figure if it's the best, clearest, simplest, concise way of presenting the information. You might summarize data, methods, or concepts in a figure. A figure will also contain a figure number and a figure title, the figure itself, and it might also include notes. A figure number acts in the same way as a table number. Number all figures in the order in which they appear. Use Arabic numbers, start at figure 1, figure 2, and so on. Present figures in the same order they are called out in the text. Write figure and the number in bold, left align the figure number, and place the number either above the figure at the top of the page if on a new page, or above the figure where it appears in the text if it's embedded. Just like the table title, each figure should have a title that's brief, clear, and explanatory, and the title should be in italics and left align. The title should be one double-spaced line below the figure number and use title case. Double-space the figure number and title. The image should be any high-quality graphical image. Figures should be the same size, the same scale. They should use same labels if there are axes on the image. Use symbols, abbreviations, and terminology consistent. You can also have consistent titles, legends, images, and notes. Let's look at several examples of figures. Here's a bar graph. This is a line graph. Note the consistency among these figures. Here's a path model. Note each of these figures has a figure number in bold and a figure title in italics. Then the figure itself. Here's an illustration, and many of them have a note. Here's a qualitative findings figure. Here's a mixed method research figure. To learn more about tables, figures, and other APA style, visit the APA Style website, apastyle.apa.org.